Where did it go? Sorry, last week I binned The Walking Dead Monopoly and I felt a little bit bad afterwards, not because of the game, but because I feel like I let you down in a way. I mean, Halloween's coming up, it might have been an ideal game for you to play then, but it turned out to be absolute tap. But that's why I'm here this week, to recommend you a game for the 31st of October called Mysterium, one I absolutely adore, but an edition that leaves my opinions somewhere in limbo. Which, considering the subject matter, is actually quite fitting. In 1894, a murder took place in the Count of Warwick's manor, which, after several months of police investigation, was simply put down to an accidental death. However, as the years go by, supernatural activity is on the rise, meaning that the poor, blameless victim is clearly not resting in peace. This is where you and up to 5 other mediums come in. You are going to attempt, for one night only, to make contact with the ghost in a bid to see exactly how events transpired on that tragic night. And I don't mean the spooky kind of ghost like this one, oh, go away. Oh, it did. That wasn't so bad. But rather a friendly, cooperative ghost played by a member of your own party. Really haven't put the effort in there, have I? Now, the police made an absolute shambles of their investigation several years ago, so the ghost is the only one who really has a good idea of exactly what happened that night. I'll be trying to convey facts about the murder to the mediums over the course of 7 hours. Problem is, years of death have made their memory rather hazy, and it's pretty hard to communicate when you're on a completely different plane of existence. Each medium has a set of leads to go on, consisting of a range of suspicious looking suspects, creepy backdrops around the manor, and a batch of items which could have also doubled as murder weapons. As expected though, you can't just point at someone and go, oh, it was them, game end. Does look a bit funny though. The ghost must send out a series of visions to the mediums by picking out a set of wonderfully illustrated cards that look like the result of what would happen if Tim Burton tried to do a reimagining of Dixit. At the start of the game, mediums are trying to track down suspects. The ghost draws up to 7 vision cards in their hand and then agonises. And you know what? Agonise away. The ghost has been given an influx of probably the weirdest images they've seen in quite some time and have to link these acid trip fueled visions to the leads that the mediums are trying to chase up. Okay, so I've had a look at my cards and trust me, they are a truly terrible set. However, I think I've scrapped something together with this one here. You see there's a red river running through it and bits of string holding these rocks together. And this woman here has a red ball of wool on her table. So I'm going to take this card and give it to the purple psychic. Now, once you receive your visions, you'll likely make one of 2 reactions. The first being, the doy. Or 2, well, it could be this guy because he's a barber and all this string looks like strands of hair. Or it could be the postman because you could journey down a river and they journey a lot and... or look, most of the land is green and the background here is green. It might be the chef. It can't be that though, he's not an idiot. Oh, hang on a minute, it's string, isn't it? It's probably her. You guys better make your decisions quickly though, because as soon as the last vision card is given out, you need to tip over this sand timer, leaving you 2 minutes to make all the choices you need to, and well, I guess if you're the ghost, you can wait until everyone's decided what they want and then give out the last vision card, leaving the 2 minutes for them to suss out what that might mean. So it's not too bad really, and this doesn't seem like it's been very well thought out. When ready to make their choice, players put their intuition token on a sidekick card that they believe the ghost is leading them towards. If they're correct, they pocket that card into their own little pouch for later and move on to the next set. However, if they're wrong, they're going to have to keep guessing with the same category. The clock hand is then moved forward 1 hour. The ghost isn't the only one that has to cast a critical eye on all of your guesses though. Your fellow mediums can do the same using these. These clairvoyancy tokens act as a voting system for the game. If you think a psychic's guess is correct, you can put a little tick beside it like the patronising little teacher you are. But if you think a psychic's guess is incorrect, you can put a little cross beside it because you're cross because you think you got it wrong. If you voted incorrectly on an intuition token, then nothing happens, but if you voted correctly, you move up 1 point on their clairvoyancy track, and that comes in very handy later on. If you all manage to collect your set of cards before the clock strikes 7, then a group seance is initiated where you have 1 chance to find out who was behind the killing. Everyone takes each set of cards they've collected and lay them out on the table. The ghost then chooses a guilty set, laying 3 vision cards face down, 1 for the culprit, 1 for the location, and 1 for the item. Players then reveal cards depending on how high they are on the Clairvoyancy track. If they're low down, one card is revealed and those players are forced to vote on who they think is guilty. If they're ranging in the middle, the second card is revealed and those players have to vote on who they think is guilty. And if any players are practically swimming in Clairvoyancy, then they get to reveal the third card before voting. If a majority of you manage to vote correctly, then congratulations, the ghost can finally rest in peace. It's a wonderfully different take on the standard murder mystery, one where you have to use your heart almost as much as your head. There's just a few things that don't quite sit well with me. The first is the timer. Now I can see why people would think something like this would make the game more difficult, but it's actually completely counterintuitive. When you get a vision card, your gut screams a solution to you, and it's actually usually pretty on the money. As soon as this flips over though, you don't have the time to question it, considering the fact you also have to think about getting your clairvoyancy tokens out should you wish to use them. So you go with your gut and it's usually right. So, and the second things are these clairvoyancy tokens, which, I don't know, I don't think they fit well with the rhythm of the game. They're not terrible. If you've got a bunch of competitive friends who like to best each other and compare scores, they might work out a bit better for you than they did for us, but ultimately they punish people who are bad at the game. I know that sounds ridiculous, those who don't play well don't deserve good results, but ultimately it affects the entire team. They'll only get to see one card in the end stage and they have to vote independently. They can't talk to anyone else, so in their time of need, in their time of desperation, they can't get the help that really they need, and they're ultimately probably going to vote for the wrong thing and lead their entire team to defeat. I don't know, it just seems a bit harsh. Luckily though, if you don't get along with these mechanics, I found an ingenious workaround to ensure that you don't come up against these problems. I'm a genius. Well, no, I'm not a genius. Mysterium is based on the game Tajeminiski Domos 2, boy I hope I pronounced that right, which didn't have any sound timer or voting elements. Without these components, Mysterium was a more streamlined yet terrifying experience. Without the sound timer, you were given time to dwell, time to doubt, time to listen to everyone else's opinions until your brain became a psychological minefield. It was an unbelievably frustrating yet fascinating experience for the ghost to listen to these unbelievably odd tangents that would tangle out of goodness knows where, but at the same time it was incredibly enjoyable just watching people go down completely the wrong path for reasons unknown. Without the clairvoyancy tokens, the endgame also becomes simpler and yet more satisfying. All the mediums are allowed to see all the cards the ghost puts out, and they can freely discuss theories with one another in a bid to solve this huge logic puzzle they have to combine their brains in a bid to solve. If you take out the time pressures and the point scoring, then Mysterium evolves from a great game into a wonderful experience. No matter what way you play it though, Mysterium is an absolutely wonderful game, and far be it from me to tell you how you should be playing your games. But if you do want to give the simpler variants a whirl, I will put a link to the old rulebook in the description below. So if you want a crafty variant on Dicey, buy it. If you want to make Cluedo jealous, then you should probably go see someone about that, but hello?